everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be crocheting the heart balloon square from the Unicorn Dreams blanket Crochet Along. Now this pattern is by Lisa from CuteCrochetMakes. It's her crochet along, these are her patterns, and all the information you could possibly need for this square is over on her website. Now I will link to it in the description box below. On her website you will find downloadable written pattern, the yarn information, the yarn colors, and the hook sizes that you need to make this square. So as a brief overview, I am using the yarn recommended by Lisa, which is Stylecraft Special Double Knit in all these beautiful pastel shades. For the main square, so let me flip this over, for the crochet square part, I am using a 4mm hook. For the little heart balloons, you will need a 3mm crochet hook. Now, just to briefly touch upon a couple of things before we get started. The crochet square is not the same as how I have my solid square that I've currently got on my channel. So Lisa does it slightly differently. So you are free to crochet yourself a solid granny square however you like to crochet your solid granny squares, or you can merrily follow how Lisa does her solid crochet squares, which is what I've done for this video. So there's a bit more information about the square itself. I'll show you the first couple of rounds and all that jazz. All that information is listed in the timestamp where it says pattern start. Go there and I will talk you through what I'm doing for the square itself. Now for the balloon section, using a 3mm hook and this beautiful pastel yarn is not a friend of the camera. So I will be using slightly chunkier, darker yarn to show you how you do the heart balloon little pattern section. I'll be doing that separately as well. But hopefully any questions you have will already have been answered by Lisa over on her website. If not, feel free to holler in the sort of comments section below and I will do my best to help you. So as I said in the introduction, Lisa does her solid granny squares a little bit different to how I do them. I want to remain faithful to her pattern, so I'm going to be showing you how Lisa has done hers for if you are following along with the written pattern. You are free, of course, to do your solid granny squares however you like to do your solid granny squares. What you are aiming for the initial section of this heart balloon square is you need a 6-round solid granny square. So if you are a confident crocheter, go ahead and do a 6-round solid granny square and I will meet you back for this final single crochet round around the top and the balloons. There are of course timestamps in the description box below to skip to all the different sections. So if you're confident, I need a 6-round solid granny square from you. Do not cut your yarn. I'll meet you back here for the single crochet edging. However, if you are following Lisa's pattern and you're a little bit unsure, I'm going to go ahead and show you the first couple of rounds now so that we can all be at the same point when we meet back for the single crochet edge. So for Lisa's solid granny square for the heart balloon blanket, you are going to start with a magic ring. Now, if you don't know how to do a magic ring, I do have links in the description box below on just how you do that. And the same goes for the double crochet stitch, which we are going to be using. I'll link to both of those in the description box below. But to start from the magic ring, you are going to chain 5, which counts as your first double crochet and a chain 2 space. So I've already chained 1. I'm just going to go ahead and chain 4 more. Then into the magic ring, you're going to put 3 double crochet. Now, I'm sort of assuming you know these stitches already. As I mentioned, I do have links to them in the description box below if you're unsure. Chain 2, 3 double crochet into that center ring. Chain 2, 3 more double crochet into the center ring. Chain 2. And your initial chain 5 counted as your first double crochet in a chain 2. So to end, you're just going to end with 2 double crochet into that center ring. Then you're going to join with a slip stitch to the third of your initial chain 5. So the third chain, so that's 1, 2, 3. It's going to join with a slip stitch. Then you're free to go ahead and tighten up that center ring. Now you're going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space here, ready for the second round. Okay, round 2, you're going to chain 5, which again counts as your first double crochet and a chain 2. Oops, my yarn. Then you're going to place 2 double crochet into this same chain 2 space. Then you're going to place a double crochet into the top of each of these 3 double crochet from the row below. So I'm just popping them underneath the V's of that stitch. Then into this corner space, I'm going to put 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochet all into that same corner. So that's 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet all into the same space. Now the thing to watch out for when doing solid granny squares is that your corner doesn't sort of cover up this first stitch here. So you want to pull your corner stitches, just tug them around slightly so you can see the top of all 3 of those double crochet stitches that you're going to be working into. So a double crochet into each of those 3 double crochet stitches from the row below. And then into the corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all into that same corner space. If at any point I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video to catch up, or indeed there's 3 little dots you can click on to slow the speed of the footage so you can clearly see what I am doing. Don't forget to pull those corner stitches around a little bit to free up this one here so you can clearly see where to put your stitches. And just like before, a double crochet into each of those 3 stitches from the round below. Then you're back to a corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all into this same corner space. Shunt your stitches around a little bit, and then 1 into each of these 3. Then, because this chain 3 or the chain 5, the 3 chains count as your first double crochet, you're going to end to complete this corner with a double crochet into this chain 2 space. and then join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain 3, so into the 3rd chain, which is this one here. Then slip stitch into the chain 2 space itself, and that is your 2nd round complete. So I'm going to show you the first sort of section of round 3. We are going to need 6 of these rounds in total. So to start, again, chain 5, which counts as your first double crochet and your chain 2, and pop 2 double crochet into that into that corner space, sorry. Then just like before, you are going to place a double crochet into each of these double crochets from the row below. So into all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Just remember to sort of move your corner stitches around so you can clearly see all the double crochet rows from the round below. Then when you get to your chain 2 space, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all into that same space here. So you're going to continue round in this fashion. Put 1 double crochet into each of the double crochet stitches from the round below, and in the corners 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So you go ahead and complete here, and I will meet you back for finishing this first corner, because don't forget you've already got one of your sort of mock stitches there. So you go ahead and crochet this section, and I will meet you right back here in just a moment. Okay, so I am back at my corner, and to finish it off, you're going to end with 1 double crochet into this chain 2 space and slip stitch to the 3rd of your chain 5, so to the 3rd chain, this one here. And then slip stitch into the chain 2 space. So that is how Lisa has done her solid granny squares for the Unicorn Dreams blanket crochet along. You need 6 rounds. So you go ahead, do 6 rounds. Do not cut your yarn, and I will meet you right back here in just a moment, and we can do the single crochet edge together and then move on to the balloons. So for every additional round, it's going to grow by 4 stitches on each side. So you'll crochet into every single one of these stitches, and then you add your 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the corners. So I'll meet you back here in just a moment. All right, so I have just finished my 6th round, and I'm going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space. So you should have something that looks a lot like this, 6 rounds of a solid granny square. Now, mine's sort of twisted a bit. 6 rounds, I'm not sure I could take it much further without it sort of getting too warped. However, do not worry, because 2 things you can do. You can block your squares at the end before you assemble, but also once these balloons get sewn on, I found that it really sort of straightened out my square. So I haven't blocked this one, I haven't done anything to it other than simply sewing on my heart. So don't worry too much if you've got a slightly beginning to twist square, it's fine. So the final round of your heart balloon square is going to be a single crochet round. So you have your 6, I've got my yarn is all caught. You've got your 6 rounds of a solid granny square, and you have slip stitched into that chain 2 space. So for round 7, you are going to chain 1 and pop a single crochet into that chain 2 space. Then you are going to chain 2 and put 2 more single crochets into this corner here. So 2 single crochets. Now, just like you have been for your sort of double crochet rounds, shove them around a little bit so you don't miss this very first stitch here. And you're going to put a single crochet into the top of every single stitch all the way along until you hit your corner. So just a single crochet into each stitch all the way along. So that's my last single crochet into the top of the double crochets and around below, and into the chain 2 corner space you're going to put 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. That's what's going to form your corner. Remember to shove them out of the way. You can see how it kind of covers that one up. So to finish your square, 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way along. In the chain 2 corner spaces, 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. Do that all the way around, and I will meet you right back here, because don't forget, we've only got 1 single crochet here. We need to finish it off just like you have for these other rounds. So we need to end on a single crochet into this chain space. So you pause the video and I will meet you back in 1 second when we're all at the same place over here. So 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around, and 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet into the corner spaces. Okay, so I'm just doing my last couple of stitches here of my single crochets, and to end the round you end with 1 single crochet into that chain 2 space and join with a slip stitch to your very first single crochet that you did. Then you are good to find your scissors, which you've abandoned somewhere. Oh, no, I've got them. Get your scissors, leave yourself a decent long end, pull that up and through, and then go ahead and weave this end and the end from your magic circle in. So then you are ready to move on to the little heart balloons. Okay, so now we're moving on to the heart balloons. Now, for your square, you are going to be using a 3mm crochet hook, and I'm obviously using CuteCrochetMakes' suggestion of the Stylecraft special double knit. So you'll be using a 3mm hook with your double knit yarn. However, this yarn, as beautiful as it is now impossible for you to see what I'm doing when it comes to the actual stitches. So I'm going to show you how you make the heart balloons using a much larger yarn that will show up better on camera. I'm also going to use a bigger hook. But for your squares, if you are following CuteCrochetMakes, you're going to be using a 3mm hook, and obviously these beautiful pastel colours. So for the hearts, into a magic ring, you are going to chain 2. Then you are going to put 3 treble, American treble stitches into the magic ring. Now a treble is yarn over twice before you do anything. So then you go in, yarn over, pull through, and then you work off 2 loops at a time. So 3 treble stitches in total. Then you're going to place 3 double crochet into the magic ring. So just normal double crochets as you've been doing. You want 3 of them. Then you're going to place 1 treble, so yarn over twice. Three double crochets into that center ring. Three trebles. Chain 2, and then you're going to slip stitch into this center ring. Now do not pull it closed just yet. So you're just going to go ahead and slip stitch. So at this point you can close the ring slightly, but do not close it all the way because we've got to work back into that again in a little while. So just tuck the end out of the way. And you're going to chain 2. Now you're going to make a single crochet into this chain 2 space right at the beginning of your round. So in here you're just going to pop a single crochet. Then into the top of the next stitch, half double crochet. Into the next stitch, 3 double crochets, all into that same stitch. Double crochet into the next stitch. Two half double crochets into the next stitch. Half double crochet and single crochet into the next. So half double and a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch. And then into this very next stitch, you are going to place half double crochet, half double crochet, all into that one stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch. Single crochet, then half double crochet into the very next one. So that's 2 stitches in one. 2 half double crochets into the next stitch. Double crochet into the next stitch. 3 double crochets into that next stitch. So 3 of them, all into the same place. Half double crochet into that next stitch, and then single crochet into your chain 2 space here. Then chain 2, and again we're going to slip stitch into the center of this ring, which is why we didn't quite pull it closed. You're going to slip stitch, just slip stitch into that center ring. Now, you want to leave a very long tail. So this is how we're going to sew the heart balloon on and make the balloon string. So give yourself a decent long length of yarn, snip it, and then you're going to pull that through the loop. Let's just pull it all the way through. Now you can pull your center magic ring closed. So this is how you are going to do all 4 balloons. So you're going to make 4 balloons, each with nice long tails. And then meet me back here when you've got all 4, and I'll show you how we attach and how we do the strings at the bottom. Okay, so the trick to not having your stitches showing is to investigate your actual crochet itself. So the bit you are going to be sewing through is you are going to be picking up either one, depending on where your crochet applique falls within your stitches. You want to be working underneath front loops only of your stitches. So if you look at it from the side, you can see there's always a couple of, no matter what your stitch, even this little single crochet at the top here, there's always little front sections that you can attach to that you therefore don't see at the back. So I've attached to the front of that one there, and yet you can't see my needle. Same here, just pick up 1, or sometimes maybe even you can pick up 2. You want to be working into the front sort of loops. It's quite hard to do through a screen on a camera, but you want to be working through just the front section of your stitch. So that's the sort of secret. Pin your applique in place so it's there. I use a sort of tapestry needle. It's like a darning needle, tapestry needle. It's got quite a blunt end. So it's got a nice blunt end on it. And once you're happy, you want to just carefully, just take your time, ever so slowly, just picking up a loop or 2 of the front of the crochet stitch. So you just want to ensure it's not coming through at the back. So as you go round, line it up. That's sort of going to fall here. So I'm just going to come under the front section of this here, like so, and come back into the stitch. So it's definitely a bit more time consuming, but it is completely worth it because there's nothing worse than taking the time to crochet adorable little appliques only to have all your stitches showing through on the reverse of the work. So this way it's lovely and secure, but also very well hidden. So you can see, look, you can't see any of the stitches that I have secured through on the back of your work. So take your time. It's definitely worth the extra effort to just carefully pick up front loops only of your work to have sort of secret hidden appliques. Okay, so you have sewn your hearts on beautifully and invisibly, and you have brought through the tail end of your threads through the bottom of your heart balloons. Now we're just going to go ahead and pretend that I have sewn these on already, and hopefully you have sewn them just catching the front loops of your stitches so that your stitches are invisible, so you can't see them on the back. Gather your strings, your balloon strings, to a point, and we're going to be, so you want to stretch them out a little bit. We want to join them at around this this row here. So 2 rows away from the edge is where we're going to be joining, like this. So you need a little extra scrap of yarn of whichever colour you want to be your sort of main balloon heartstrings. So for this one, I have used the apricot, but you're free to use whatever you want. I think I've just snipped off a tiny little bit of yellow. So you've got your sort of small section of yarn, and you want to gather your balloon strings wherever you want them to be. I'm going to have mine ending, as I said, around about here. And you want to sort of gather them together. And then with this needle and the scrap of yarn, you're going to go through your stitches. Now, this is the only time you're going to see a stitch on the back of your work. So you just go through, I'm going in between a couple of double crochets on this row and keeping this out of the way, and just pull it through. At this point, do a little sort of square knot, but only once. You just want to gather and hold those strings in place for now. Then bring back your needle, thread it back onto your needle again. And you're going to run this round a couple of times, just a couple of stitches just to secure it. So I'm just loosely holding it with a square knot for now, and I'm just securing it. I'm going to go around a couple of times. So I'm just wrapping it around. You can take your time and be much neater than I am. Then when you've got it all sort of secured, flatten out your square, make sure everything is in place where you want it to be, and then tie a little bow. Now, what I did for this one over here was I did a double knot just to make sure it was all nice and secure. I did a little double knot, and then I tied a little bow, just like you're tying your shoelace. Then the final thing is to gather all these little tails together and snip them so they're all the same length. And that's it. That is your heart balloon square complete. Woo. We made it, folks. We made it. So hopefully your heart balloon square, you've taken a bit more time and it doesn't look like this one. It actually looks like this adorable little square. I hope that all made sense. Lisa from CuteCrochetMakes has a downloadable written pattern over on her website where she gives you all the information about the yarn, hook sizes, colours, you name it, it's there. So go on over there and check out the written pattern. And for now, happy heart balloon square making.